Good evening. My name is Nigeria Chambers. I'm from Big Gold Belt Media. Katie and Delaney, it's a pleasure to talk to you today about your new film that I checked out, and I just had such an amazing time. And that film is Adult Best Friends, making its world premiere this year at Tribeca Film Festival 2024 under the U.S. Narrative Competition category. You too, how are you feeling today? Congratulations.
Thank you so much. We're good. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, feeling good.
Amazing, amazing. I have so many questions. I want to start off first addressing it being in the U.S. narrative competition category as an avid film lover and goer and critic. This is like the category that I target at every festival because it's always about those films that kind of either an expression of creativity or artistry, but leaves you wanting to think more or put some things together, you know. So nonetheless, the question for you two is, what is that message and feeling you want the audience to leave with upon checking out your new film?
I think that, we've been best friends since in real life since we were 10 years old. And I think something that we've realized as we've become adults is, I think it's difficult to maintain a friendship into adulthood. And I think
Yeah.
things change and people, get married or, have kids and people will reach milestones before, one friend does. And I think it's about, trying to survive that, friendship surviving through adulthood. And so I think we wanted to create something that was personal, but also universal. And that feeling of, like what the growing pains of being an adult and having a friend and what happens.
Yeah.
I think for us, it was about doing it through a comedic lens, but also, having that emotional experience. And I think, we wanted people to, feel like they could relate to that and feel that, they have a friend or a person in their life that, their relationship has changed with. And what do you do? And how do
Yeah.
you address that? And, is it possible? Sometimes the reality is no, like, friends break up, but Katie will say we work at it.
Work takes communication. No, I agree with what Delaney's saying. I think we could hope our best case scenario, but people would leave having seen the movie and understanding that adulthood and all of the responsibilities that come along with it is not the death of friendship. It's not the death of yourself as an individual. It just takes some pivoting, takes some thought. How does this live with me in this next chapter of my life? And I think it also takes trust in the friendship that you can loosen your grip a little bit and that it won't all slip away. If it's important, it'll have a space in your life.
Mm, I love that. When did you all officially label yourself as adults? Just curious.
I don't think I have. I still will say like, I'm like, yeah, well, like that's for adults. And it's like, you're 32. So are you not an adult now? So I still with I still think I don't know. I think, after college I felt more like an adult, but I still feel Katie, I don't know how you feel. I still feel like a kid all the
I
Yeah.
time.
think I've been an adult since I was like 8.
Yeah, she's very mature.
You know, because sometimes when you are with your best friends and it's beautiful to hear your friendships and how long you've been friends, and obviously now you're doing amazing things together. Yeah, when you link up with your best friend, you go down that little nostalgia road and all those memories and all the things you got into, and sometimes you slip away that like we're actually are adults, you know. We still like the same things we like. We still know. I had my best friend hold me accountable about how protective I am about eating gushers, and I was like, see, only you would know something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, yeah, I'm an adult that will absolutely get mad if you eat my pack of gushers,
Yeah,
nonetheless.
yes.
Like not something I broadcast, but yes, you have been told that.
While this wasn't a horror film, one of my biggest fears in all of horror, which has been the theme that they've been using religiously over the last few years, is nightmare Airbnb stories. I got to ask you, with that being a strong component into this, is that something you all have experienced, and when did you realize that needed to be in the script?
I'll
Oh,
let you
yes,
finish this, Katie.
that's a real story. I mean, we made the character up, obviously, and the plot is all fictional, but that was inspired by an Airbnb that my husband and I booked. It was marketed as a private space. And it was very much, I mean, we were roommates. Like it was like maybe our bedroom was private, but we would just every day we'd come back and there'd be a knock on the door, like, hey, how's everything going? One time they came in and said they needed the hamper back. And so I was like, I mean, my clothes are in it. They're like, yeah, you can just dump those anywhere. I'm like, okay, this is like ridiculous. And then when it came time to give them a review, it was my first time ever using Airbnb, like in the movie. And I didn't know how it worked. I didn't want to offend them. I didn't want to get blacklisted. So I tried to say something like, they're very present. If you're looking for that, it's a great option for you. Like hoping that someone could read between the lines, like you're signing up for a roommate. But yeah, it was. I've since then booked a lot of Airbnbs and that hasn't ever happened, but it
Yeah.
was, I mean, not say it was hilarious at the time, but we were excited we knew we put it in somewhere because honestly, it was so ridiculous. We'd wake up every morning to the sound of her flip-flops.
Oh my God.
We were excited that I found a place for it here. And then Corey Walls, who plays the Airbnb host, was so funny. Like we were
Just about to give him a shout out. Oh my goodness. What a performance he laid in this film. Yeah, shout out to Corey Walls, who plays the character Dougie. So you two both, and really quickly before I get into any further, I just want to make sure I give you your flowers, Delaney, your directorial debut. Congratulations. And Tribeca, one of the biggest film festivals in the world. So I'm sure with doing this with your best friend who also co-wrote, you two co-wrote this and both star, wearing multiple hats and getting this done. And debuting at Tribeca, just want to make sure I gave you two your flowers and congratulations for that. It's a huge deal, and the world's going to fall in love with this once they check it out.
Well, thank you so
Um,
much. It's so nice. Yeah, we're very grateful and excited and can't wait to show people. So
yeah, yeah. So the hat of co-writing here. Now, did you all write your respective characters, or did you write for each other's characters?
we write, it's super interesting question. Like we write together. So like we don't really like we get on a Zoom and we kind of just write at the exact same time and we watch each other, which is probably not the most that
in a
sounds
shared document. So like typically we are
Yeah,
writing sentences together. A lot of writing partners send a script back and forth. I think that's actually the normal way to do it.
I've never heard this unless you're twins or something, but that's best friend energy.
it is. But so we like I also think it was interesting because these are like, the characters are based on us, but they're not like Katie's not a liar and I'm not so mean. So I think like it was okay to like we could take like we would write each other's characters, but we weren't taking offense because I think we know that like deep down these are probably like our worst qualities, extremely exaggerated, and we know each other so well that we kind of knew the line to toe.
Yeah.
But certainly like there were some, it's a personal story. And I know one of our friends watched the movie and was like, it's like, what? He's like, was that hard for you? I was like, it's not that personal.
Oh, I thought you was gonna say one of the friends watch and say, "Hey, that sort of reminds me of myself."
Yeah, no. But I think it was, we would write together and we would take, turns writing each other's characters, certainly. But I think we know each other well enough, and I know that we never wanted to we never want to hurt each other or go over the line. So because of that bond, I think it kind of gave us more liberty to kind of take comedic stabs at one another because we both know despite our worst qualities, we will still always love each other. So it's like we can kind of really play with that, which I think is another, large benefit of us being close friends and co-writers.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, y'all, don't make me cry. I'm supposed to be doing it's completely beautiful. And to that point, I mean, that's the message I sort of took away from it is I've always been very empathetic, but I think this film is truly the testament and power of empathy to put each other in one another's shoes and kind of look at things full circle. There's a huge amount of self-accountability in this that I love. So you can't write the film and leave a message and not act the part here. So of course I was going to be able to do that. One of my favorite lines in the film and ultimately led into one of my favorite scenes was, "I'm not gonna not do the coke."
Carmen Christopher is very, very funny and the whole movie, but that scene in particular, he kills me.
So yeah, he was really like, I'd have to leave. I couldn't watch. It just made me laugh so hard.
Yeah, that entire scene was money, pun intended for sure. Listen, this film is filled with so many beautiful folks. And I don't know how you all had the money to finance getting all these largely talented people involved. But I wanted to give you two a moment to talk about your cast, and rather some of your favorite moments, and then just bringing this family together to put together a fantastic film.
Sure, yeah. So our producer, Maria Golova, I've known her since college. She's one of my best friends as well. And she's worked for Zachary Quinto for years, and she's his CE, a creative executive at his production company. Katie and I have done some work with her before, and with Zach. And she basically was like, we were like, we want to write something personal. Like, we would love if Zach would just like play a role in it, whatever he wants. And she was like, he really wants more comedic roles. So if you write him something funny, like, I'll ask him. And so he came on, and he peated in the end, but he was very in the weeds with us in terms of developing that character. And he was so gracious with his time. And he was instrumental in casting, and so was Marie. And basically, Corey Walls and Connor Hines plays Charlie, and Corey plays Dougie, are two of our best friends. So we just ask them. And the rest of the cast, Marie basically found, and, through Zach and other connections, pulled together. I'm close with Cassie. She's one of my good friends as well. So she did us a favor in being in it. So it was a very like hodgepodge pulled together,
Yeah.
a lot of favors. And it was amazing. And, I got to set every day and was like, I cannot believe that everyone is so well cast, and it made my job a million times easier, because they would step in, they put on their wardrobe, and they'd step onto set and I'd be like, it's you, like, it's who we thought about. And they were
So it was really so amazing to
Yeah.
see, like, some of them would, like Delaney saying, step on, and we'd spent so much time with the script at this point. And maybe the first time we read through with Zach as Henry, I just lit up. I couldn't believe Henry was in the room with me. And he's
Yeah.
one of my favorite characters, and I just couldn't
Trekkie?
believe I was like meeting him.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
you two Trekkies? Star Trek fans?
Well, I'm not a Trekkie, but I've seen it. But I just because he does more serious roles.
Right.
Yeah, I loved
And
it.
So
yeah,
funny, like in person, and you'd never know, because he has this intensity to him.
Yeah.
And it's just so, I just love
so
watching
fun.
him. Yeah.
I said like in a minute of it was because like I always say, in terms of watching independent films, you always see people take more creative uh jobs or casting because they want to kind of exercise their craft. They want to show you a different side. So I love how his introduction was giving me Spock, and then he quickly whipped the band-aid off and was like, but I'm not playing that character today, folks. So yeah, just fantastic up and down the board. Zach is the man. Zachary's the man.
No, yeah, and
Um,
it was great. And also, like, everyone, even like Mason Gooding, who was there, he was so amazing, and he has such a strong, comedic streak to him. But he's also just such a nice guy, and I think every single person just brought their A game in terms of acting and also attitude. It was literally like every cast and crew member put up with. We shot part of it in Mississippi, so they put up with 105 degrees in August, and just smile on their face. The crew as well, every person that we worked with. And it was an indie, so we didn't have a lot of the resources of a larger film, so people who were used to that more franchise style were so unbelievably patient and
yeah.
so kind. And I'm so grateful to them, because that's such a nice experience to have as a first time feature director.
Yeah. A scene that really hit me in the film in the feels is the scene where you two are in the car, and I'm not going to quote the entire thing because I'm going to give anything away, but the sort of acknowledgement that you two are different now, ditto. It completely shattered me. I know these are roles you two played, and again, just fantastic performances for you two as well. And again, with wearing all the hats as well, like just bringing all that together. I want to know for you two as best friends, when you touch a scene that hits very hard in the feelings, what are some of the tools you two use to kind of screw back on to get back into getting the films going still, like to kind of come out of that character to wear the other hats in order to make the film go?
I think it was really easy. Like, I think it wasn't easy, but easier with Katie to slip into the emotional parts, because I have such, like, there's so much history between us that, like, automatically, and she can speak on her side, I could pull from that emotionally.
Mm.
And I could get out of it quicker just because it was so real almost. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think it was like I was very in it with her just because I was like yank, memory and everything, especially in that car scene. Um, it was super real. And I think everyone was very always, which they should be, sensitive and cautious with us during those scenes because I think they knew how deep it went. So it was like always we were given a lot of grace in terms of coming out and between scenes and stuff because I think they knew how real it was. So I think that too, just having incredibly sensitive, aware crew who are friends with us to just give us the space to come out of it and the patience to not just be like, all right, and next, like, let's get it going, let's get it going. Like that awareness helped me at least sort of bring myself back to life or back into a scene. And Katie, you can,
Yeah, I would say that's totally right. And also, I mean, for that scene, especially, just kind of reminding ourselves, both professionally and emotionally, this is what we've trained for. This is our time to really do it and put everything that is so important to us in front of the camera and be able to tell that story. I think especially for that fight and when friends fight over something like this, we talked a lot about it, obviously, while we're kind of figuring out how we want to tell it. And the anger is really fear. You're not mad at them for who they are. You're just afraid that you're not the same anymore.
Yeah.
And you just don't want to be alone. You wish that you could just be the same. And all of that ultimately, while it's coming out in a harsh way, is rooted in how much you love the person. And we've talked about it so much that we always knew there was that safety net of, we might fight right now, we might be angry right now, but ultimately it's because we love each other so much and we are just finding our stride in how to make this work as adults.
All right, I'm crying after this. That's it. It's so beautiful. It truly is. Um, Last question for you. And Katie, you mentioned you had a partner delay. I'm not sure if you do as well, but is there any particular person you're more excited to see that you think may have questions about it?
Oh, like, I mean,
The ones that's going to be sort of, should I say, suspicious about you two's character and if it actually pertains to your friendship.
I think that a lot, I mean, I think my mom, obviously, I don't want her to see me doing all that cocaine, but like, uh, she's understanding though. But I think that with the strange thing about comedy, always in comedic writing, is you're pulling so many things from so many different people and shoving them into these characters. And I get so nervous that people are going to be like, well, that's me, right? And
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
like, it's not you. Like, there's parts of you in the character, but there's parts of me, there's parts of Katie, there's parts of everyone we know. Even the Airbnb host, like as much as that's Katie's host, like it's an amalgamation of a lot of hosts we've
Yeah.
had. So I think there's a nervousness that people are like, that was me, right? And you're like, no, 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 no. Like those characters aren't even us. Like, so I think there's that nuance of having that discussion. But I think there's no one in particular that I mean, again, my family.
My brother is like sure that Zach is playing him. No, no, no. Fictional character.
Oh my
But
God.
I think I'm excited for everyone just to see it and hopefully that we know like I think hopefully it hits it deeply for them too because they've seen the evolution of our friendship and at the same time I really hope that everyone who doesn't know us, which is the majority of the world, is able to relate to it or like you said, watch it and get something out of it because I think that was really what we intended when we wrote it and we made it as just a universe. I can't say the word universe. Katie, universality.
That seems good.
I don't
We'll
even
go
know.
with it.
It's the relatability of it.
There you go.
Relatability.
You too. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so
You're
Thank you.
beautiful people, beautiful souls, and when the world does get a chance to check it out this year at Tribeca Film Festival, making its world premiere under the U.S. Narrative Competition category. Yes, folks, we're talking about adult best friends. They're going to fall in love with you all. They're going to fall in love with the film, and then they're going to make sure and pretty much honor that I make this statement that after this is all said and done, please, you two get back to work. get back in the lab, get that shared document with however you want to do it. I want to see more from you all, and hopefully we get a chance to talk down the line with many more projects.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. It was so great
Thank you
talking.
so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.